So the newest reserve coming to Caldwell the Angler has been officially announced, and it turns out we're headed to Japan. Let's take a look.
On the islands of northern Japan, local folklore claims the entire world rests on the backs of giant divine fish named amemasu. Spend a few days exploring our lakes and our rivers in view of the volcano. And you'll quickly see that the fish here in Hokkaido are indeed the fish of legends. Welcome to Japan. Welcome to Kamuibetsu.
And what an incredible looking reserve it is. The visuals in that trailer are just absolutely stunning, and we talked about it with some of the teaser images. It resembles New England mountains in The Hunter Call of the Wild, but obviously the islands of northern Japan. And the first thing that caught my eye was that fish. That is a chum salmon, and I'll be honest, never knew that was a thing prior to this trailer coming out, and now I think that's going to be my favorite one. There are, as we'll get into, 19 species on that map. I'm going to be surprised if anything tops that for me. I think they look really, really cool, and one of these days I definitely want to try to catch a diamond one. Also in there we saw some sort of eel. I'm not sure if that's the same as what we have on Spain or not. There was a crab, and then I think, I'm not sure, but I think right here we might be looking at a taimen, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. These are not species I'm super familiar with, but they look really, really good. And you know, that was another thing, and we've been seeing this for the past probably year with the Angler. The animations as the players are holding these fish, the chum salmon shows it really, really well. The evolution this game has had, from characters standing there expressionless holding a fish that you catch, to the fish really come alive, and not only that, the way the player reacts, looking down at the fish, trying to make sure they've got a handle on it. I really like what they've done and how they've evolved with that kind of stuff, and I assume there's going to be other species, as we've pretty much seen with every new species, that have that sort of effect. Now as far as fish go, there was only one other fish that we saw in the trailer, and right after this beautiful shot of the rivers, there's a fish that jumps out of the water, and I just can't identify it. I don't think it's that taimen again, I think it's another species, and if you guys have any insight, definitely let me know in the comments below, because it appears to be a decent sized fish. But then I want to get into the little write-up they have here on Steam. So it says, welcome to Kamuibetsu National Park in Japan. Hopefully I said that correctly, and it gets into talking about the taimen and chum salmon that we already mentioned. So then below that, explore the vast, unspoiled wilderness of Kamuibetsu National Park in Hokkaido, the northernmost of Japan's major islands. Immerse yourself in the vibrant autumn season, taking in the sights, sounds, and flavors as you search for the perfect fishing spot among winding rivers, impressive glacial lakes, and clear mountain springs, all in view of the towering volcano. And that was mentioned in the trailer. I hope there's some kind of cool volcano effect. Maybe that's not going to be a thing. At the very least, I hope we can actually go up and peer down into it. But catch unique species. Kamuibetsu National Park features 19 diverse species, including iconic fish exclusive to this reserve. Battle species like the feral koi, and more catfish, I've probably said that wrong, and northern snakehead, or track down the elusive new crustacean, the Japanese freshwater crab. Which one will you reel in first? I don't know what we'll actually catch first, but for me it's going to try to be that chum salmon. So now, having looked at these fish species, I wanted to take a look at how big they could get and maybe what to expect as far as the fishing encounters we may have. So if this is indeed the taimen, which it's hard to tell because it seems like they have a number of colorations and stuff, looks like the biggest recorded is about 21 pounds. So somewhere in that area is probably what we're going to be looking at. I could see this fish, this model, being a smaller 20-pound fish, so I could definitely imagine that being the taimen, but again, hard to say with very limited knowledge of the fish in these regions. Now the feral koi get a little bit bigger, looks like up to around 3 feet and around 35 pounds. I wonder if they'll get even heavier than that. Koi are kind of like a big goldfish species, and the ability of those things to just grow in the wild is insane. So from what I was able to research, that's about as big as they tend to get. I wouldn't be surprised if they can get even bigger in the Angler. That we'll have to wait and see. Speaking of bigger though, the Amur catfish, still don't know if I'm saying that right, the biggest one ever recorded is around 88 pounds and over 4 feet in length. So looks like we'll be having at least one really big fish species, and even, these ones we've been talking about. The taimen around 21 pounds, feral koi over 30 pounds, catfish now at 88 pounds, and continuing on here, the northern snakehead. They're a lengthier fish. The biggest one recorded was nearly 5 feet and about 21 pounds again. So similar weight to the taimen, but a little bit more in length even than the catfish. Then on to still my favorite model, the chum salmon. The record is 44 inches, nearly 4 feet in length, and about 35 pounds. I like that, similar to brown trout over on Norway, and those are really fun to catch, so hopefully a similar type of experience there. And then finally, what I was able to find for the Japanese freshwater crab, relatively small, like the size of a potato chip. A bigger one I'm sure is going to be, for diamond anyway, slightly larger than that, but I couldn't get a lot of information as far as what a really big one is. So kind of cool to see the different sizes of the fish, and I'm a big fan of Norway because it's got so many like 20 plus pound fish, and it looks like Japan's going to be a similar thing, and that's got me really excited to try to complete that diamond bingo. And then of course we learn about the story missions and challenges, and talking about unwinding with friends. So just, again, the visuals of the reserve. We're walking around here on Golden Ridge Reserve, and it remains my favorite map, but just looking at it, again, the evolution of this game, the improvement we've seen from one update to the next, I really think Japan is going to look significantly better, and it appears to be just so much improved graphically from what we have here on Golden Ridge. And the other thing is, 19 species. That's a pretty significant list right on launch. I really like that. Huge fan of the chum salmon. If those are indeed the taimen, I think they're going to be really cool as well. And I can't wait to find out what that jumping fish is. But all of these images, the trailer itself, it has led to what I think is going to be a really cool reserve full of really cool fishing opportunities. And as we've worked on trying to get these diamond bingos, all of a sudden we have a whole bunch more to go to, and I cannot wait to try to go and get after that. So if you guys were able to identify anything in there that we talked about, maybe as different than I said, or that jumping fish or anything like that, definitely let me know in the comments below. Any additional information would be fantastic, as this new reserve is coming soon. No official release date just yet, but hopefully we find out in the near future. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.